Welcome to the Embrace Strength podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Crocker. I am an experienced trainer and active life professional. I work with people who are struggling with nagging pain to get back to the activities they love without fear of re-injury. This podcast is here to educate and provide value to you on all things health, fitness, staying active, and personal development. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Today, I am talking you guys through what exactly I'm going to be teaching you in my group program for coaches, Programming Through Pain. You probably heard me talk about it, and if you've been wondering, what exactly are we going to learn in this program, this podcast is for you. If you are not interested in hearing about it, then you can just mosey on over to another episode. But that is what this episode is going to be about. So, first off, talking a little bit more about how I decided to create this. And here's what I did. I asked myself, my coach mentorship clients that I have one-on-one, what is something that I wish they did a better job of before coming into one-on-one mentorship with me? And the answer was being better at programming and being more confident in their programming skills. And this is literally something that I talk about with every single one of my one-on-one mentorship clients, even the ones who spent over $15,000 on their coaching education. They still needed help and are wondering, is this the best thing? How do I know? And so that is how I decided to come up with this group program. It's intended for newer coaches to learn from me and get better at this skill that is so important. And that is assessing your clients in detail and knowing how to create a program out of that. So, with that being said, that is how I came up with the idea. And also, I had several coaches message me about wanting to learn from me. And the only offer that I had was one-on-one mentorship. And that is not a good fit for every single person if they just want to learn from me. And so I figured I needed a group container for those people to come in who they just want to get my knowledge. They can come in the group container, or if they're interested in maybe closer mentorship with me, but they come in the group container first. So then we can get more in-depth in our mentorship container once we have all of this learning out of the way. So anyways, this program is focused heavily on application. I am not going to sit you in front of boring modules that want to spoon your eyes out and give you a 100-page workbook that you're only going to look at once, okay? That is not what this program is. I am teaching you what matters for the type of client you're working with. It's no bullshit, to the point, and I'm focusing heavily on application. So how does this actually look in real life, in looking for in applying this to your clients, going through case studies, talking about how this looks in real life, because that is something that certifications are missing. And people learn all this stuff and then they go out in the real world and then they're like, wait, what? I don't know what do I do? My certification didn't cover how to handle this client scenario, right? It didn't cover how to handle somebody who is dealing with back pain, somebody who's straight out of physical therapy, somebody who has been dealing with knee pain. There's a lot to coaching that is in the gray area, and it is not black and white. And that is where a real human and learning from a real human comes into play, especially if you're new. If you've been coaching less than 5 years or have coached less than 50 people, that is what I'm considering to be new. So that is the why behind why I created a group like this. And basically, here's how it goes. There are three parts to the program. Okay. The first 4 weeks are focused on assessments and testing. And by assessments, I do not mean watching your client do a wall squat or watching your client do a deadlift. No, we are talking way more regress than that, to where we're looking at them joint by joint and checking out that flexibility and mobility of every joint before you even watch them do a movement, because that is so important. Something I should have learned way earlier in my coaching career, because it saves you so many headaches down the road. So we are covering fully how to do that. We are covering strength testing, and by strength testing, I do not mean maxing out your client's back squat or maxing out their deadlift. I mean, we are looking at their unilateral strength, upper and lower, in every pattern, and checking out, like, do they have any strength discrepancies right to left? What does that look like? And how do we structure that? So that is part 1. After we get through part 1, we're going to do a case study and Q&A call, so that, again, we can get practice actually implementing this type of stuff. Like, how does this look in your real life work with clients? Then we are moving into part 2, which is programming and how to use what you find from part 1, what we just learned. This includes like what to do with your assessment results. So if you were a coach listening to this and you already do in-depth assessments, do you know how to put the puzzle pieces together from your assessments to creating a program? If the answer is no, then there is a big problem, and you definitely need to be in this program as well, because if you don't know what to do with your assessment results, then the assessments are actually pointless, right? So we're going to cover that, and we're going to cover how to build a program skeleton, which basically means like how to structure a program from your results. How do you know, like, what should be the priority? What should not? What about when the movement assessment is a shit show and they're limited everywhere? What do we do? Right? Like, this is the type of stuff that I mean when I'm like, there's a lot of gray area when you're coaching real life humans. Okay. We're going to go over exercise selection. This is something that a lot of coaches get hung up on. What exercise do I choose? What variation? What's going to be the best? Like, what makes sense? And you'll also be getting a robust movement library that I have created. It is this bomb-ass spreadsheet that has so many exercise ideas broken down by movement pattern. And there's a section for corrective exercises, so that you are not wasting time going to Google, going to YouTube, trying to find the right demo video, trying to find the right variation of what you want. It is all going to be in this spreadsheet. So you're getting that. And also in that part 2 section, we're talking about programming progressions, regressions, and phases of training. This is another one. How do you know when to progress? How do you know when to regress? What are regressed variations if something doesn't go the way that you thought it would, right? And then again, after we wrap up the part 2, we're doing another case study call and Q&A section on that part 2 of what we just learned. And part 3, I am talking about most common pains that I have seen in clients and how to solve for them. This is going to include returning to running pain-free, low back pain, knee pain, and part of knee pain is also going to be like ankle, foot, and calf situation. And that is going to be really valuable because I have coached a lot more people in pain than you have. So I have seen what works, what doesn't. These are good exercises for this situation and scenario. And yeah. And then again, after that, part 3, another Q&A and case study section. And yeah, so that is like the program curriculum. And Another part of this program is a private Slack community where you have access to me Tuesday through Thursday every single week. So if you have a question about what we just learned, or you have a client video, you want me to look at their movement, or you want to post programming that you need help with, I am in there coaching you Tuesday through Thursday every single week throughout the program. So you also have access to me in between our calls. And I'm probably going to throw in a bunch of mini trainings throughout the program too, because I always over deliver. So there is also that. But anyways, so if you are listening to that and you're like, oh my gosh, that sounds super valuable, I would love to learn about that, then send me a message on Instagram and I will get you the details on how to reserve your spot. I will also just put the links in the show notes if you want to just go ahead and reserve your spot. I will be taking 2 more people before this program starts next Thursday. We are less than a week, so it is really down to the wire. If you want to get in on this, you need to take action. So take it or leave it. I will be running this program again in January, but it's probably going to be more expensive. So do with that what you will. The first round is going to be amazing, and it's really a matter of, do you want to go into 2025 a much better coach, or do you want to wait? That's what it is. So, oh, also the program is 13 weeks. I do not know if I said that. It's 13 weeks, weekly calls, and the call will always be recorded if you can't make it live. So, alrighty, that's all for today. Hope to see you inside Programming Through Pain. And like I said, if you have any questions, send me a message on Instagram. Bye.